Have you ever watched a show and suddenly had a moment of realization where two separate worlds collide? That's exactly what happened when Adam Scott, known for his roles in Parks and Recreation and Severance, discovered the uncanny connection between these two series. But here's the twist. One of these connections was made long before either show became a hit, before Severance was even a twinkle in the eyes of its creators. Seen in Parks and Recreation hinted at the very concept that would go on to dominate TV screens. In season 6, episode 12, Adam Scott's character, Ben Wyatt, shares a quirky idea with his wife, Leslie Knope, about separating work from personal life through a firewall system. Sound familiar? It's eerily close to the core idea of the Severance, a show that tackles the very same theme. But what makes it all the more fascinating is that Scott himself directed that very episode. Uh, you might be wondering, did Scott predict Severance years before it existed? Not exactly. Um, as a huge fan of Severance, I can't help but wonder what it would have been like if Ben Wyatt's firewall system had been the blueprint for the Apple TV Plus show. Probably. And In a recent interview, Scott watched the viral clip from Parks and Rec and shared his reaction. And he said that never even occurred to me until I saw it on Instagram a couple months ago. The real story behind Severance creation comes from Dan Erickson, who came up with the idea after juggling multiple temp jobs and imagining a world where he could simply turn off work and escape it completely. And when Ben Stiller received the script, he immediately reached out to Scott, who described the concept as sticky and catchy. But it was a year before Scott finally got the script in hand. He was still sold on the idea, though, and eventually signed on to play the lead role. Interestingly, Stiller had to force Scott to get the part. But anyone who's seen Parks and Recreation can see why Scott was a perfect fit for a show about office dynamics. He had already nailed the genre with his portrayal of Ben Wyatt. However, despite his success in office comedies, Scott has no plans to return to Parks and Recreation, at least not for personal reasons. And with Severance still on hold, fans like me can revisit those moments in Parks and Recreation that feel like a prelude to the show's groundbreaking premise. And it's funny how TV can sometimes create these serendipitous connections, isn't it? With that said, thanks for watching. And until next time.